Pandering to Donald Trump. I thought it was interesting that the framing was a room of black Republicans. Where are they? Where are they? Because if you look at the stats, 81%, I'm sorry, of black men are part of the Democratic Party. Black voters consistently align with the Democratic Party. Over 95% of black women are part of the Democratic Party. So these black men that he was speaking with, I'd love to see them. It would be like looking at unicorns.
I haven't shown anything from that crazy show, The View, in a while. I do that because anyone who wants to keep their sanity can't watch that show. All they do, they're a bunch of cackling hens, and all they do is tell lies and fabrications in order to convince the audience that watches them, mostly suburban white women or people that do not have jobs during the day, mostly women. They try to convince them that the Republican Party is there to take their rights. They try to convince them that Donald Trump is there. He's the big bad wolf. He's going to come and blow their house down. So all they do is sit there and pander and lie and tell falsehoods related to what's really going on. And it's sad that you have a bunch of clapping seals in the audience and all they do is clap and cheer for stuff that is not accurate. So I typically don't show too much from The View anymore. It's just a waste of time. But every now and then you get a peek into how they view black people, especially black men that don't toe the line, that don't conform to how they think black men should vote. So before I show you that, I wanted to show you what has been going on in terms of how black men are being viewed that don't agree with the Democratic talking points, that are not signing up to vote for Kamala Harris. So you see this person, Willie Ross Jr. knee deep, said blacks for Trump. If you're black and are voting for Trump, you've got some serious issues. What could possibly be your reason? Let that sink in for a moment. Because black folks who think for themselves, who want to realize their own agency, and for whatever reason are deciding to vote for Donald Trump, instead of just not paying it any mind, understanding that a person's choice as to who they want to vote for is personal, instead he wants to come out and insinuate that black folks that vote for Donald Trump have issues. I want to give you that picture because that is the mindset that permeates the black community. That is the mindset that drives how black folks that think for themselves are treated. Black people that think for themselves, and especially black folks that stand on biblical values, conservative black people, folks that want to ensure the progeny in the black community, folks that want to ensure the future existence of black people, who are against the unaliving of children in the womb, who are against promoting gender confusion, who are against the mutilation of children, who want to stand for biblical marriage, who want to elevate the number of true marriages in the black community, people that stand on integrity, people that don't go around saying ignorant stuff, people that don't go around acting like a fool because that's how they expect all black folks to act, like a fool. They get off, they get paid, they profit by promoting this image of black folks being a fool. People that don't go to these church plant churches with these church plant pastors and all they do is cater to the Democratic Party. All they do is paint black folks as victims. When you don't adhere to that agenda, to that messaging, the agenda of the Democratic Party, the agenda of the Marxists, communists, and the socialists, this is what you get. You get labeled as someone that has mental issues. Isn't that something? As I've said over and over and over again on this channel, black people, in particular black men, will be the scapegoats for when Kamala Harris loses. Because there is this mentality within the black community, and it's sad to see, but there is this mentality that as a black person, you are obligated to vote for the Democratic Party. You cannot think for yourself politically. You cannot think for yourself culturally, because the word of God is not paramount in a number of black minds. Black people may be the most religious folks, but they're not the most biblical. They're religious. They're led by emotions. And because they have so much collective groupthink, if you choose to think for yourself, if you say to yourself, no, I want to vote for someone that wants to promote free enterprise, that wants to promote the elevation, the uplifting, human flourishing within the black community. I want to vote for somebody that may not even be Trump or Kamala Harris. I may just want a different option. If you even think that as a black person, you are tarred and feathered. You are called all kinds of names. You are labeled a sellout, a Uncle Ruckus, a stepping fetchit, a coon, all those things simply because you choose to vote differently than the masses. There are serious issues, not issues with people who decide to vote for Donald Trump. There are serious issues in the black community to where if a black person steps outside the plantation, they send all of the wranglers to bring that black person back in line. You heard what Obama said last week when he was talking to the black men, telling them they need to vote for Kamala Harris. You have all these different Democratic shills coming out attacking black men because they're not voting for Kamala Harris. And the latest one is Sunny Hostin on The View.
But, you know, we can't poll people's hearts and we can't see into people's hearts. And so when we're looking at these polls and we're looking at who is voting for Trump, you've got 53% of white women that voted for him in 2020. We've got to reach those women. We've got to reach those ridiculous, crazy black men that did vote for Trump. We've got to reach those people. We've got to reach the Cuban men in Miami that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. I don't know what their hearts look like, but I know what their votes look like.
But I'm not talking.
Notice how she didn't use any adjective to describe the white women or the Cubans voting for Trump. But for the black men that choose to vote for Donald Trump, they are crazy. Did you catch that? The black men that choose to vote for Donald Trump, they are crazy. That gives you a peek into the minds of the feminists, of the Marxists, of the communists, of the socialists, of black people that want to attack and lambast other black people simply for voting differently. That's insane, right? But see what that shows you, there is a spiritual stronghold in the black community that has convinced the masses that if you don't vote the way they want you to vote, if you don't think the way they want you to think, there is something wrong with you. You are an outcast. They will cast stones at you. They will destroy you because what you are a narrative breaker. You are a breaker of narratives. If you stand on biblical values, you cannot sensibly vote for the Democratic Party and what they stand for right now. Because all the Democratic Party has done for the black community in the last 60 years is destroy the nuclear family, is to emasculate men, is to feminize the community, is to destroy the community by supporting lascivious lifestyles, is to destroy the community by pumping drugs into the community, is to destroy the community by putting our children in these failing schools. That's what the Democratic Party has done by and large for the last 60 years. But yet, if you speak out against that, yet if you say, I don't want that for myself and for my children, you are labeled as crazy. I wanted to show you that because that's what they think of black people, especially black men that don't toe the line. That's how they view those kind of black men. They're sellouts, they're ignorant, they're crazy. Something is wrong with them. They are mentally unstable. You're going to hear all kinds of ad hominem attacks on black folks, especially black men that choose to not vote for Kamala Harris. They're going to try to bully black men into voting for Kamala Harris. But you know what? It's not going to work because black people, especially black men who are going to vote for Donald Trump, they have their minds made up. You can bully them. You can insult them. You can attack them. You can demean them. Trust me, they've heard worse in their own households. So if they get to the point to where they publicly and verbally say they're going to vote for Donald Trump, they've already overcome all the insults, all the attacks, all the demeaning, all the degrading that anyone can give them. They are sure of that very thing. And as Christians, especially as black Christians, we have to vote for the platform that closely aligns with the Word of God. And it's sad that in the black community, that's how they think of black men that choose to voice their own opinion, to exercise their own agency. Those black men are tired of being painted as victims. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.